But we want to start with this, and we've been tracking this story for the past couple of days. But the death of, and we got to confirm last night, the death of Dennis Hamlin. He's the father of NASCAR great Denny Hamlin, also the co-owner of 2311. Dennis Hamlin, 75 years old, died from injuries suffered in a house fire in Gaston County. The NASCAR community in our community, I should say, is mourning the loss of described as a dedicated father who helped his son's NASCAR career flourish. Carlin, we talked about it a little bit yesterday before we got the news confirmed. You kind of give me the backstory. I've kind of heard.
Yeah, they've been a little bit more public. I mean, especially with like the Netflix series Full Speed and everything. The Hamlins have kind of been a little bit more forward-facing about like it's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
Racing's an expensive sport. And they truly sacrificed, I mean, every dollar, cent of money they had, money they didn't have, to get Denny to race. And, I mean, it paid off. I mean, he's now a NASCAR great and
he's a legend.
Successful businessman, too. I mean, it's just tremendous sacrifices from Dennis and Mary Lou to get Denny where he is.
I mean, that sacrifice now has landed Denny Hamlin being a 60-time NASCAR Cup Series race winner and one of the sport's greatest competitors.
One of the greatest has never won a championship.
And look, that chapter's still not closed on his career. But again, the big focus is the loss of his father. Them losing that house in that house fire, a lot happening this holiday weekend. But we want to get to a statement from NASCAR. They released a statement just moments ago. It reads, quote, NASCAR extends its deepest condolences to Denny Hamlin and the entire Hamlin family. Dennis Hamlin instilled a love of racing in his son and sacrificed greatly to develop Denny into a world-class talent in the sport. We also continue to offer our thoughts and prayers to Denny's mother, Mary Lou, and hope for full recovery. Again, that is a statement from NASCAR Communications posted on X. A tough weekend and a tough week, I should say, for the Hamlin family as they grapple with loss and recovery of his mother, Mary Lou, the loss of the house. So again, as more information and more tributes start to pour in, we'll continue to bring that to you here on Live Impact News. Another thing off that was a house fire, tragic. There have been other house fires. Iredell County we covered, several others that we have covered. And it's something that
it's that time of year.
That time of year, people are cranking up the heat.
Cooking at home more. You've got trees in the house. You've got a lot of factors.
A lot of factors. We want to bring in Miles Harris. He's here in studio. Miles, you've been tracking it. You actually spoke with the American Red Cross, right?
Yeah. And like you guys have kind of talked about it, though, too. It is unfortunately around that time of year we are starting to see more and more of those house fires. I talked to the American Red Cross. They said that since November 1st that they've seen a 26% increase when it comes to house fires compared to last year.
Wow.
And so that tells us a couple things, right? Obviously, we're seeing a couple more house fires now, but like, what are these stemming from? And a couple of things they went to is, people are cooking more at home. They're trying to stay warm. So whether it's turning up that heat or using space heaters, leaving those unattended, whether it's cooking, those things can be a factor. Now, we don't know the details behind the Hamlin house fire at this point yet. But again, like you said, Nick, we are just seeing a lot more of these. So there's a little bit more of a concern. And the impact of these fires as well is what's also kind of a big thing, though, too. Beyond just talking with the Red Cross, I did get a hold of another burn advocacy group, right? Survivors that have been impacted by burns, house fires, things of that nature. And they talked to me a little bit over the phone about the impact of this, and that we think about the people that were in the home, right, that were impacted by the fire, but it also goes to the family, the friends, the neighbors that either saw that burn or that house fire, and now they're impacted. So this thing kind of spreads and goes throughout. I mean, it's obviously a concern when we talk about the amount of fires that we have seen just in our area compared to last year. But obviously, this is just one of those safety reminders of, hey, making sure that we're keeping our eyes on things that are on in the house, whether that's cooking in the house, whether that's that space heater, just trying to make sure that we are doing that. And also smoke detectors, biggest tool that we need to also keep in mind of when we're obviously in a house, especially around this time of year, is a big, important, life-saving tool that we may not think about every day.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the things that we had talked about with the American Red Cross, and just obviously the prayers and condolences with the Hamlin family with the situation. But I mean, it's just happening far too often around this time of year.
And make sure you check on your neighbors too.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a, sort of an old school thing where you know, I think we get caught up in our lives and what we have going on. But, you know, I remember my grandparents checking on their neighbors. My parents check on their neighbors because you might have things settled in your house. But you want to make sure they're okay, and vice versa. They check on you as well.
Exactly.
To make sure.
No,
so it takes a community.
It does. It really, really does. And again, like this is one of those situations where we look at the story and then we look at other ways to make sure that we're like giving our awareness to our viewers, too, right? And this is the biggest one too. This is why it's important for us to connect with these organizations, these advocacy groups to kind of think about or touch on. Because when I talked to the Burn Advocacy Group and they started talking about, hey, you might not have been in the house, but you might have been impacted. Yeah, it's like an eye opener for me because I don't think about that. You think about the people that are now having to be displaced or moved or living to stay warm around this time of year or whatever, but it impacts everybody. Yeah. And so those little tips and reminders are really important around this time, especially as we're kind of staying on track of this story. But it's kind of scary to also think about the uptick in these fires that we're seeing more and more of our area.
Miles Harris. Miles, when can folks catch your story? Very important story.
We're on all stores. We're on all shows. We're 4, 5, and 6. We're 4, 5, and 6 today.
4, 5, and 6. Miles, thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate you guys.
Make sure you check out Miles' story. He's in all shows 4, 5, and 6 today. Miles, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.